POC Network here with another unboxing, and we have a new one for you today coming from Crenova. And this is an LED projector. This is their XPE660 home theater video entertainment projector. It's LED and it's affordable. There's a really nice price tag on this. And what we're gonna do today is we're gonna open this up, see what it looks like, actually test it out, and see what the picture looks like and everything else. But first, let's start off by looking inside the box and see what it comes with. So you have an accessory box here with a bunch of stuff in it. We've actually, all of this stuff is wrapped in plastic. We've actually taken it out of the plastic, but you have an IEC cable here, which is similar to most projectors as well as like computers. So this is your power cable, and you have a RCA break-in cable, which is a 3.5 millimeter TRRS connection for the projector side, and then your typical RCA white, red, and yellow inputs for your audio and video. And then for digital, you have your HDMI cable, which it actually does come with. Looks like it's about 2 to 3 feet worth of cable here, about 3 feet probably. So if the projector is mounted more closer to the ground or just sitting on a shelf or something like that, and whatever your device you're bringing to it is nearby, like an Xbox or a DVD player or so forth, then you can use this cable. And of course, if you're mounting this on a ceiling, you're going to want to use a longer cable, and that's on you. That's same with any projector. You have a remote right here that has a 2-color tone to it. It's all white with a gold trim going all the way around the sides, which is kind of cool. And you have a really basic layout of buttons, which is popular these days. You have your power button, you have a mute button, you have your next track, previous track, fast forward, rewind, play, pause buttons for controlling content directly from the projector with. And of course, this is mostly for like your, Amazon sticks or anything like that, because it does support that as well. So you can just plug in an Amazon stick directly into this thing, no other device needed, and you'll be able to control it directly from the projector. And then you have a button up here for adjusting the image of the projector. So as to how far that goes, Keystone or anything else, we'll find out shortly. And then you have a directional pad with an OK button right there in the middle, which is for obviously moving around the menu system with. And then you have the M button for the menu system. You have an S for source, so choosing your input. You have a back button, and then of course volume up and down. And it looks like they send it to you cracked open already, because you got to pop it open to get to the batteries. They leave that already done for you in the beginning, so you know exactly how the remote comes apart, and it takes 2 AAA batteries. The only thing else left in the box is some documentation. You have a little Crenova contact us card, a little smiley face in there that opens up with the contact information, so you can reach out to them in case you have questions or concerns or anything like that. You have a tissue, a little pad of tissues here, the tissue paper, pretty much, for cleaning the lens with. And then you have a warranty card for, your warranty. You have what they call a gift card, but it looks like it's just 20% off your next purchase from their website, so it's more like a discount card. And of course, their manual on using the projector to walk you through setting everything up, and of course, using the controller. Which, looking into this now, it looks like that button that was for adjusting the screen, it isn't for Keystone or anything like that, it is actually a flip button, so if you are hanging it upside down, it's just a 1-button press and it'll flip the image. That way you're not having to look at the menu upside down to find the flip image option within the menu itself. So now we have the instructional material, we have cables, and we have the remote. So what does the projector look like? The projector, protected by 2 giant pieces of foam, is pretty large in size. I mean, it looks really nice. So for the price, this is already starting to make me feel pretty good about this. If I were to have bought this myself, I would be, my hopes would be up right now. The front of the projector has a nice little extra color tone to it. You have a silver accent, and it looks like brushed steel. Looks like it might actually be a little thin piece of aluminum running across the front. Everything else is pretty much white outside of the logo and some of the inputs here. Your lens clearly is on the front, and it's protected by a nice rubber little lens cap here. And then again, the inside is LED, so you might not be able to replace this bulb. So it's kind of a one-time wonder here, but since it is LED, hopefully you'll be able to get a lot of life out of it. And then on the front here, it looks like you have an IR reader or input, so that way you can see the remote when you're pointing the remote at it. It also looks like there's also an IR on the back as well. This side here is just a air output, so for the fans inside to blow hot air out, keep it nice and cool. On this side, you have 2 speakers. And you have a AV input here, so that's for that break-in cable. You have an audio out with 3.5 millimeter connection going out, so stereo output. Chances are you'll probably want to run this into a receiver and then to the projector, so that way you can actually get more speakers out of this. But if all you need is stereo sound, then you can output it to just a basic pair of stereo speakers. And then of course, if you just want to use the internal speakers, just like any other projector, it'll give you audio, but it's going to be 10E, so you might not really opt for that. And then it looks like you have a PC RGB connection here, and that's it for the side there. On the back, we have 2 USB connections, we have 2 HDMI connections. So this is for all of your inputs, Xbox, Blu-ray player, Amazon Fire Stick, and so forth. And then you have your IC connection here for the power input and a little switch to turn it on. On the top of it, there are some buttons here. You have up and down, OK, menu, and source. And then you have your volume up and down, power to turn it on, and then a back button. And that's it for the projector itself. The lens cap actually ties onto the adjustable foot. It looks like there's only one adjustable foot, and it's right there in the dead center there. So you are going to want to install this somewhere where you're going to have a good balance, where nothing's going to be able to shake it, because when you're only operating off that center foot, it has the tendency to want to wobble if it's located on a surface that might get a vibration or be exposed to anything like vibration or bumps or anything like that. If it's attached to the roof, typically you're adjusting everything from a mount and you'll be fine no matter what. So there it is, the Crenova projector. It looks nice, it's heavy, it's big, it's an LED. It looks cool, it feels cool, and we're gonna go test it out. Let's plug it in and see what the image looks like. So we now have it set up in one of our demo theaters here. We use rooms like this to be able to test certain devices that come in all the time and see what they look like in a real life environment. So we have it pointed right now at an Elite Screen's 125-inch motorized screen that drops down, and it's about 18 to 19 feet away. We did this so that we can get a really solid test out of this to see how it would perform, at least from a distance, giving us a really large picture. It's a 1080p again projector, so it's not 4K or anything like that, but we do have some content here. We've opted for a USB drive with some video content on there. Some of it's in 4K, some of it's in 1080, but it's going to be 1080 no matter what coming from the projector, and we're going to see what it looks like. So let's get it connected and give it a look. So this is what it looks like from about 18 feet away from the screen, keeping in mind that this screen is 125 inches. So it's a huge drop down, and this is a pretty good distance, and at that distance we're getting a huge picture out of it. It's actually going past the screen, getting larger than that, and of course we brought it up forward closer to the screen so we can actually get it to match up to the screen, and it works just fine. But we decided to bring it back so we can actually show you this. This is amazing. So at 18 feet away we got a huge picture. It looks fantastic, it's clear, you can see the text and everything. The menu system comes in nice and clear, it's simple, but you can read everything just fine. The focus of the projector is actually controlled by the front on the lens by turning it around and twisting it. The zoom is digital, so you don't really have a zoom, so it's all about, you want to be able to bring the projector forward or back distance-wise to get the best picture to match up to wherever you're shooting the picture against. Let it be the wall or a screen or anything like that. Now, once you get the distance you want, then you can fine-tune it using the digital zoom if you so choose. From there, you'll use the focus on the front by turning the lens to get the right focus. You get a nice crisp and clear picture on your screen or wall, and you're set to go. But in this kind of situation, we wanted it brought back over here so you can see what the huge picture looks like. It's going to be a little bit more washed out than it's capable of, but it still gives you an idea of what the colors are going to look like. The colors aren't exactly perfect, and given this isn't a $1,000 projector or anything, but for what it is and for the price tag, it's doing pretty good. So the menu system here, if you hit the M button, you have, some of your typical options. You have your picture mode, color temperature, you have aspect ratio, X and Y zoom, that's going to be your digital zoom, noise reduction, and you got projective mode front or rear, so you can switch this around, not rear, but flipped, for ceiling mode. And then of course you have the ceiling mode rear projected from the screen, so if this is a rear projection or front projection, you can control that in the menu there. Of course, then you have the upside down rear projection screen, and then you're back to normal again. And you have Keystone Correction. Keystone Correction is very minimal, it's just bringing in those corners, like you'd normally would with any Keystone, but it's one setting of Keystone. You're not going to be able to do all corners separately or anything like that, but then again, or once again, this is an affordable projector. It's not exactly $1,000. You have your sound options here for balancing your sound out, surround sound, so forth. You have your system information for time, clock information, auto sleep, and additional options for the system for on-screen language, the duration of the menu, software updates via USB, blending, and so forth, including setting the fan to high speed, which I wouldn't because the fan is, like a lot of these projectors, a little bit noisy. So if you set it to high speed, it's going to be a lot noisier and it's going to interrupt you in watching your movie. So we grabbed a video here for just a demonstration here. This is Overwatch, their cinematic trailer. This is the one where they're in a library, or not a library, but a museum, where they have some of the artifacts in display. You know, they start off with a brief introduction of who the characters of Overwatch are and everything. And of course, this is shot in, super widescreen or ultra widescreen here, so you're going to get some bars on the bottom or the top and bottom. But again, it's also further back in the screen, so it's stretched out. And surprisingly, the sound coming from the projector is not bad either. It actually has low end to it, which is kind of cool. So if you're using this for kids, and a simple setup in a playroom or something like that, or just basic video games, you don't need a whole surround sound system or loudspeakers or anything. The speakers in this projector actually are good enough. But of course, if you're going to use this for movies, you are going to want to use this, connected to a receiver or something like that so you can get the most out of it. But what you're looking at here is pretty darn good. It's decent color. Again, this is 18 feet away, so it's going to be a little bit washed out. You get it closer, you're going to get a little bit more brighter. And it's not as bright, again, as a $1,000 projector, but for, the price tag it falls into, it's doing pretty good. This looks fantastic. It's wonderful if you just need a projector. You need something to get the job done. You're not looking for something that's theatrical and amazing and top of the line or anything like that. You just need something that works and looks good doing it. It looks like we found an answer. So again, this is Crenova's latest LED projector, 1080p projector, and we'll have a link in the description below so you can go find it on Amazon. And of course, if you liked what you've seen here, don't forget to subscribe. There's that subscription button down there at the bottom where you can follow us, as well as a comment section so we can all talk about this later on. And as always, we thank you for watching, and we'll catch you next time. If you want to stay on top of all the latest and greatest, and or at least the gadgets we cover, remember to subscribe right here. Subscription button. Click it. You're going to want to. There's lots of videos, interviews, previews, all sorts of stuff. Button. Click it.